Shedeur Sanders quietly stole the show on day 6 of Brown's training camp, and not just because he was wearing number 2 while completing passes with trainer-style execution. This mid-camp practice wasn't televised, but that didn't stop the impact. Here's where things stand. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Sanders consistently shredded the first-team defense in practice drills, 7 for 8 with perfect pocket reads, no turnovers, and crisp timing, even under pressure from elite edge rushers. Joe Flacco continues his veteran grind, finding short to intermediate targets reliably. But nothing explosive, no big throws in tight windows, and his deep ball looked inconsistent under duress. Dillon Gabriel flashed twice in simulated clutch reps, including a clean run option read and a tight fade route, but his height and release point betrayed him. There were 2 almost interceptions on misreads, including an ill-timed pick-6 early in the day. The defensive units, especially Mason Graham and Markin Slayer, looked comfortable, and launching themselves at each quarterback like it was a playoff scrimmage established the Browns' ideal template. Let the defense win. Shelter the quarterback. Yet Sanders, time after time, gave his offense positive plays in spite of that pressure. It's stirring growing frustration among fans and insiders. Shedeur has thrown bombs in controlled drills, delivered sideline fades in tight coverage, and shown footwork and anticipation reminiscent of veterans who've earned their reps. But nearly every snap still goes to Flacco and Gabriel. Everyone is watching the reps. But more importantly, everyone is watching what Shedeur does with them. The message he's sending is crisp. Smart decisions in 2-minute drills, no turnovers, dynamic pocket movement, and quick timing. Even when he wasn't with the first unit, he fluidly scanned coverages, moved defenders with his eyes, and got the ball out under duress. On third downs, he didn't panic. He audible protections, subtly shifted the line, and still made the tight throw. One veteran receiver, visibly impressed, said during a cool-down, "This kid, D2, looked better than our office starters will tomorrow." Management strategy is familiar. Keep it slow and safe. Lean on Flacco's experience. Let Gabriel develop. Use Sanders sparingly as insurance. If things unravel, Sanders is the best fallback option. But this conservative path is suddenly feeling less tactical and more like avoidance. Why? Because each day stapled between the hash marks, pick and roll, quick clean reads, brings more undeniable data. He led red zone success in back-to-back drills. He ran situational practice as crisp as a veteran clutch QB. He eliminated penalties and forced turnovers, unlike Gabriel, and more consistently than Flacco. If someone had told you a month ago that a 5th-round rookie would be quietly outperforming the veteran starter and not get bumped for it, you'd call it strange. Now, that's Cleveland reality. What lies ahead? Calendar the joint practices will be the turning point. That's where Shedeur goes up against other teams starting defenses. If he consistently scores drives there and stays turnover-free, the optics shift fast. American football, the preseason opener will matter too. Who steps in when first-team reps inevitably loosen? Whether the short West Coast route or red zone fade, everything gets scrutinized fast. Bar chart coaches are internally evaluating who protects the ball, who triggers explosive plays, and who stays calm when the defense closes in. It's no longer about draft pedigree. It's about performance under realism. If Sanders continues his trajectory, there's simply no rational way to deny him first-team reps. And soon. Browns fans aren't just watching, they're rallying. Phone lines and radio stations lit up referencing Sanders' completion numbers and criticizing the depth chart. Local reporters are updating analytics with every drill. The narrative is shifting from, "We'll just ride this veteran for now," to, "How long can the Browns justify that?" when their best quarterback, game after game, looks like Sanders. This isn't just Idaho rookie sensation talk. It's reality unfolding, quarterback by quarterback. Veterans are watching. The team is watching. Patriot scouts will be watching. National media will be watching. Because when a 6th pick looks better than the first, the question flips. It's not can he be better? It's can they afford not to start him? The Browns have to decide. Do they ride this old-school veteran preservation style, or finally give the future the platform it's demanding? Shedeur Sanders is quietly applying pressure, drive after drive, and Cleveland's choice is sticking with fear or stepping into what could be a franchise-shifting moment. If the front office doesn't pivot soon, they risk looking like the team that spent the whole camp with QB1 sitting behind the wrong tape. The whispers started with a single throw, tight spiral, back shoulder, perfectly placed into the hands of a third-string receiver running a post route against the first-team defense. One of those throws that makes you look at the sideline, not because of the receiver, but to see who actually released it. That throw came from Shedeur Sanders. And since that moment, the whispers have turned into a slow-building storm. The Cleveland Browns didn't draft Shedeur Sanders to be the face of the franchise. They didn't even draft him with the intention of letting him compete right away. He was a fifth-round flyer, a prospect with good tape and big-name recognition thanks to his father, Deion Sanders, but still a fifth-rounder. He was supposed to be a project, a clipboard holder, a developmental piece to sit behind Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel. Instead, he's become the story of training camp. While Joe Flacco leans on his experience and Dillon Gabriel struggles with consistency, Sanders just keeps delivering. Whether it's working with the third stringers or occasionally sneaking into a second-team rotation, he brings something intangible: poise, confidence, command. His arm isn't just strong, it's disciplined. His reads aren't just correct, they're fast. And more importantly, he isn't trying to play hero ball. He's playing smart, efficient, situational football. And that's making coaches very uncomfortable, because the plan was never to start Shedeur Sanders. The plan was stability. Flacco, a known quantity. Gabriel, a future investment. Sanders, a spark plug. Someone to sit, learn, and maybe someday grow into a starter. But now, he's rewriting that narrative day by day. During a recent padded scrimmage, the Browns' defense dialed up the pressure, blitz packages, disguised coverages, edge stunts that would rattle even seasoned quarterbacks. Sanders, unshaken. He didn't get rattled, didn't rush his throws. He stepped into the pocket, slid left, adjusted protections mid-count. He spotted the soft zone, dropped the ball over a linebacker's shoulder for a clean first down. Coaches noticed. Defensive players noticed. Hell, the media up in the bleachers noticed. And still, no promotion to first-team reps. The reason? Politics, draft capital, the silent but heavy weight of expectations. The Brown staff doesn't want to look like they reached on Gabriel in the third round if Sanders, picked 2 rounds later, is clearly outperforming him. It's the oldest tension in football. Admit the mistake early or let it fester until the locker room starts asking the same question fans already are: why isn't the best guy playing? And make no mistake, the players know. Veterans in the locker room aren't blind. They see how a guy throws in warm-ups. They know when a quarterback commands a huddle versus just borrowing it for a drill. Sanders already has buy-in. Multiple defensive players have been overheard praising his anticipation and decision-making. A few young receivers prefer working with him because of how he talks through plays before the snap. He's already building chemistry with teammates he's barely supposed to be on the field with. The biggest difference, though, Sanders plays with stakes. He's not just running drills. He's playing like each rep could be his last. Like he knows he's being evaluated every second he's in the frame. That sense of urgency is exactly what separates camp guys from real game changers. He doesn't waste movement. He doesn't float passes or force reads. He's calm but not passive. He doesn't need to be flashy. He just needs to be right. And he is, consistently. There was a moment in a recent red zone session that summed it all up. Play action, fake handoff, bootleg to the right. A linebacker came screaming off the edge, full sprint. Most rookies panic in that situation, especially in camp with limited live reps. Sanders didn't flinch. He rolled out, squared his shoulders mid-sprint, and delivered a dart to the tight end just inside the pylon. Touchdown. No celebration. Just a calm jog back to the huddle. Businesslike, controlled. And everyone watching, from scouts to linemen to secondary coaches, knew exactly what they'd just seen: an NFL-level play under real-time stress. Still, When the next session began, it was back to third-team reps. That's the game behind the game. Coaches and GMs play politics with reps. They pretend they're building a meritocracy, but deep down, they're protecting investments. The third-round pick must get the snaps. The veteran with the contract must get the leadership role. The fifth-rounder, he has to break the system to even get a look. But if Sanders keeps up this level of performance, the system may not hold. And then there's the elephant in the room, the fan base. Browns fans have watched this team cycle through quarterbacks like cars on a used lot. Since 1999, they've seen every prototype fail. Mobile QBs, pocket passers, big-arm gunslingers, efficient game managers. The fan base is desperate not just for stability, but for electricity, for someone they can believe in. Sanders brings that. He has the name, the swagger, the ability, and now he has the production. If he starts shining in joint practices and preseason games, the calls will be too loud to ignore. Already, clips of his passes are going viral. Fans are tracking every stat, every throw, every rep. He's become the most talked about rookie not just in Cleveland, but across the league. And yet he stays humble. When asked about the depth chart, Sanders says all the right things. He praises Flacco's leadership. He calls Gabriel a brother in the room. He thanks the coaches for pushing me to grow. But make no mistake, he knows what's happening. He's playing chess, waiting, watching, knowing that his opportunity is coming. And when it does, he won't just be ready. He'll take it. That's the thing about quarterbacks. You can't fake leadership. You can't coach poise. You either have it or you don't. And Shedeur Sanders? He has it. It's not about one practice or one highlight throw. It's about how he keeps stacking good days, how he keeps responding to pressure, how he doesn't let frustration leak into his play. That kind of composure isn't normal for a rookie, especially one who's been deliberately held back from showing his full capabilities. But pressure builds, reps reveal, and games don't lie. The moment Shedeur gets real first-team action against another defense, under real lights, that's when we'll see if the Browns front office has the guts to admit what the field is already showing. The future has arrived, and it's not wearing number 7 or number 15. It's number 2. Just give him the ball. Let him lead, and watch what happens next. You can feel the tension in the air before practice even starts. It's day 9 of training camp, and somehow, despite all the buzz, all the stats, and all the sideline whispers, Shedeur Sanders still isn't taking first-team reps. The veterans see it. The coaches feel it. The reporters can't stop writing around it. Every spiral he throws, every perfectly timed out route, every quiet but undeniable moment of leadership, it all builds to a question the Brown staff is clearly trying to delay answering. How much longer can they keep this guy off the field? But Shedeur doesn't say a word. Not a complaint. Not a smirk. He laces up, grabs a playbook, and walks the practice field like he's QB1, even if the jersey rotation says otherwise. There's something unshakable about him. He doesn't carry the weight of a rookie, and certainly not the energy of a fifth-round pick. It's not arrogance. It's purpose. He plays every rep like he's writing the resume of a future franchise cornerstone, and lately, those reps are impossible to ignore. He starts the day throwing to the second-team unit. Again, doesn't matter. 5 plays in, he finds a backup tight end on a timing route. Ball out before the cut, hits him right between the numbers. The throw doesn't just complete the play. It silences a defensive coach mid-sentence. Later, in a red zone drill, the pocket collapses around him. He doesn't panic. 2 quick steps to the right, eyes still downfield, then a dart into the back corner of the end zone. Touchdown. The safety just shakes his head. That's the thing about Shedeur. He doesn't do backflips or fist pumps. He walks off like it was supposed to happen. And maybe, just maybe, it was. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel's struggling. Again. Today. It's another high throw on a crossing route that sails just far enough to tip into the hands of a lurking linebacker. Pick 6. The crowd doesn't even groan. They're used to it now. It's not that Gabriel is bad. He just looks like what he is. A young QB with a learning curve, still trying to catch up to the speed of the pro game. The problem? He was drafted 2 rounds earlier. And in Cleveland, that's currency. That's reputation. That's investment the staff feels obligated to defend. But every time Shedeur drops back and threads another needle, that excuse gets harder to protect. You can tell the veterans are beginning to make up their minds. When Shedeur talks in the huddle, people listen. When he reads a defense aloud, even receivers not in the drill nod along. It's subtle, but it's real. And in football, those little shifts mean everything. At one point in the session, Amari Cooper jogs over between reps and says something to him. They both laugh, but you catch the gist. It's a correction. Coaching, not just camaraderie. And Shedeur listens. He doesn't bristle or deflect. He takes the note and then, next rep, delivers a perfect back shoulder fade that lands exactly where Cooper told him to aim. That's how you earn the room. Not with flashy interviews or TikTok followers. With adaptability. With awareness. With performance. And Shedeur is stacking performances like bricks. But behind the scenes, things aren't as smooth. There are rumblings, serious ones, about conflict between the front office and ownership. Jimmy Haslam, the man who signed the checks, is reportedly irritated. He didn't want Shedeur. The marketing team did. The analytics guys lobbied for Gabriel. Stefanski wanted a steady vet like Pickett or Flacco to hold the room. But the scouts? Some of them are whispering that Shedeur might be the best pick they've made in years. Problem is, if they promote him too quickly, it makes a lot of people look bad. And in the NFL, looking bad is worse than losing a few games. So they stall. They cite process. They talk about maturity, about handling adversity. Meanwhile, the kid who's actually checking all those boxes is still throwing to guys who won't make the 53-man roster. Then something wild happens. Late in the session, the coaches announce an impromptu 2-minute drill. First team defense, second team offense. And Shedeur's up. The first play is a screen. Clean, smart, ball out fast. Second play, pressure. The pocket collapses from the left. Shedeur bounces once, twice, rolls right, and uncorks a missile to the sideline. First down. You feel the sideline lean in. He hurries to the line, no wasted time. The defense adjusts late. Third play, play action fake, safety bites, and Shedeur hits the slot receiver over the middle for 25 yards. The cornerback slaps his helmet. The clock's running. He hurries up, no panic. Spikes the ball to stop the clock with 7 seconds left. Last play of the drive. From the 14-yard line, trips right, defense shows blitz. Snap, pressure comes. He doesn't move, just plants and fires. Back corner, over the shoulder, toe tap, touchdown, and the field goes quiet. Not because people weren't watching, but because everyone just saw it that moment. The one where everyone finally realizes what they've got on their hands. The camera crews missed it live. Doesn't matter. The players saw. The coaches saw. And Shedeur? He just jogs back to the sideline. Calm. Unbothered. Handshake from the tight ends coach. Chest bump from a backup receiver. But still, nothing flashy. Just that same look on his face. It's starting to hit people that this isn't hype. This isn't flash. This is real. After practice, reporters try to bait him. Ask about depth chart drama. Ask about Flacco's reps, about Gabriel's turnovers, about Jimmy Haslam's weird press comments. Shedeur shrugs. I'm just trying to win my reps. Everything else isn't my job. You get the sense he knows what's coming. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not next week. But soon, because the joint practices are coming. The preseason games are next. And if he gets even 10 first-team snaps under real lights, the narrative won't be controllable anymore. He'll force their hand. Because here's the truth. The Browns need a quarterback they can believe in. Not just one who won't mess things up. One who can actually take them somewhere. And in a city that's seen 20 years of false starts and draft busts, Shedeur feels like something different. Something earned. Something true. The locker room knows it. The fan base feels it. And the front office? They're scrambling to figure out how to explain it when the guy they drafted to be depth becomes the story of the season. The Browns didn't plan for this, but Shedeur Sanders did. And now, It's only a matter of time before he takes what's already his.